Hello, guys. Welcome back. My name is Ryan Milkey. This is the eighth movie in the franchise. It's number 6, Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. But it's a great movie, as we've all seen over the years. We've all watched it many times. It's a great movie. It's probably my least favorite of the 3 original. But we'll get into it. Hey. Crazy. Well, let me just put my phone on silent so that it doesn't distract me. But yeah, guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. It is currently the 7th of February for me, so my birthday has now ended. That was yesterday. It was a great day. I don't remember much of it. I'm not quite very drunk, but I've been drinking, so I'm not crazy though. Let's go for it. So everybody in the chat, we've got Baby Ice is in here, Bravo Lima's in here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let me introduce my wonderful, amazing co-host, and then we'll get straight to our guest who is with us this week. And we will be breaking down the movie for the next hour and talking about it, giving you our discussions, our reviews, and yeah, giving you our final scores for the OT series, moving into the fantastic Disney remakes. Let's do this. So as you all know, guys, I'm going to now introduce my amazing co-host. You all know him. You all love him. He is everywhere on YouTube doing all sorts of stuff. I think there is even a live scheduled for next week for some Among Us games. So that should be real fun. It's always fun to try something different. But please welcome my amazing co-host, Headless Ned Stark.
What's up?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Good. Hey, I've constructed a new lightsaber for this live. I just got done doing it, so there you go.
I really need to get a lightsaber.
You do need a lightsaber.
I do. I would really like one, but the issue is if I get one, I'm going to need loads.
That's exactly what I said, and I'm like, oh, now I have 8 lightsabers. Like, who doesn't need 8 lightsabers? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. How's your day been?
Good. Long day at work. I'm excited to do a little Harry Potter midnight tonight. So it's downloaded. It's ready to roll. I want to make sure I get those codes in because I get the I got the Lux. I get the early access, and I get the Hippogriff and a couple other little things. So yeah, man, I'm ready to roll. I just make sure I got to stay up now to that late because it's gonna be a long night, I think. But I'm here for it because I've been waiting for this game for a while.
Yeah, definitely. I know what long nights feel like, so I definitely sympathise with you there.
There you go.
The fun doesn't stop. We've got another one tomorrow. We've got the Horseman tomorrow with PDX. He's coming on. I was up at 9 o'clock this morning UK time watching him play Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and I was hunting for some stuff to use on the live. But yeah, he's going to a basketball game tonight. I think I saw.
Oh, I did see.
So that should be fun.
I did see something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Grizzlies?
But yeah, something like that.
Something.
But that's PDX, and that's tomorrow night. So tonight we have a special guest with us. I know that we haven't had a guest with us for the Star Wars stuff yet, but I know that when we started this stuff, I reached out to a couple of people and said, you can come on your favorite movie if you want to talk about it. And Robbie B. Poppin is our guest. He graciously said, my favorite movie is Return of the Jedi, and I'm going to come on then, and we're going to talk about that. And it just so happened to be the same day as my birthday, so keeping with the tradition of bringing somebody onto the channel, like we had Big Easy last year, this year we've got Robbie B. Poppin coming on. So if anything goes from the relationship I gained with Big Easy, then it looks like Robbie B. Poppin could also be part of the crew going forward. American community, now we get to torture you for your birthday, says Baby Ice. Yep. Just put yourself in the same community. Exactly. Well, we appreciate everybody being here. Jeremy Knapp, thanks for stopping in tonight. But yeah, guys, we're 5 minutes in, so let's get my guest on. Let's bring on the fantastic Robbie B. Poppin. So you'll be able to check out his channel, and he's got lots of Lego stuff. He joined us for Lego Lives the other week, and we found him on the New Year's Eve live with BOP. It was a very fun live, and yeah, Robbie's been pretty much here, there, and everywhere now. He's on Hangouts with Baby Ice and LJ at night times, and yeah, he's everywhere. So guys, without further ado, please welcome Robbie B. Poppin.
Hey. How's everybody doing? So it's nothing like yours, Ned, but this is my own little toy that I purchased. So this is one. This is not one of the like collector ones or anything. It sort of is. It was like $100, but I bought it for my son's birthday last year, and he promptly broke the
the blade.
saber part of it because it was just plastic or whatever. But the hilt it's metal and it's cool. So, but that is the extent of my lightsaber collection. But I've got one. So I took it from him because when he just destroyed the saber part of it, like I don't know, it was like a week after his birthday or something. I was like, okay. And then he just never really got into it. So I kept it for myself. So thanks, kiddo.
Just need a new blade.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me. I look forward to it. As Ryan said, it's not his favorite movie, but it is mine, mostly because when it came out, I did see it in the theater. My grandma and her sister, my great aunt Betty, actually took me and my brother to see it in the theater. They were thoroughly grossed out by Jabba the Hutt and the oh my god, my mind just blanked. The monster under the floor.
Rancor.
Rancor.
Thank you, Rancor. Yes, they were thoroughly grossed out by Rancor and Jabba the Hutt, but thankfully they kind of muddled through, and because my brother and I enjoyed it so much, and so it was a fun day. And I remember it. I was very young, but I don't know. I had to have been 9 or 10. But saw it in the theater, absolutely loved it, and continue to love it. As far as the movies go, it's definitely my favorite.
This is my first time actually watching it through properly and listening to the storyline and trying to, follow it through, because I've probably watched all of them over time. I've never watched the final 2 Disney ones. I watched the first one with Rey, and then I think I gave up. So they're going to be fun, the last 2 of this series. But yeah, no, this one's a great one. This is, like I said in the intro, it's not my favorite of the original trilogy. I have to say probably Empire Strikes Back is probably my favorite in the trilogy after now watching it. And it's been fresh in my mind. But yeah, it's a great. What do you guys think of the OG trilogy compared to the rest? Headless, what do you think?
I mean, obviously,
your thoughts on the OG?
Yeah, I mean, the OG trilogy is much better than either one of the other 2. For this movie, for me, as much as I love this movie too, it's still my third favorite of the series, because Empire, like I was telling you, I think it was off camera yesterday, that for me, Empire Strikes Back is not only my favorite Star Wars movie, it's probably my favorite movie of all time. If I had to go to a desert island and I was allowed to take one movie with me, I'd probably take an Empire, because it's everything. It's a little romantic to a point. It's got a lot of tons of funny lines and action, and it just has everything you want. And the huge cliffhanger at the end. The toughest thing would be I wouldn't be able to continue the story then, but but yeah, I mean, I love Return. Return for me was awesome because I just remember being in the theater, and I'm sitting on the right side, and the theater is not huge, and I just all of a sudden when Luke ignites that green lightsaber on that little barge there, dude, I was like, oh my god, like it was like the greatest thing I've ever seen on film, because you're not expecting it, you're like, oh, he's got his blue saber probably back or something like that, and when the light's green, I just remember the audience going crazy. And I'm probably only about 8 years old here, even maybe 7 at this point. But again, I just remember that, and it was just I was in awe over it. But yeah, I mean, I do love the movie. I mean, it's just hard because I love the first 2 so much. Not that this is really that much of a step down. I guess maybe it's just a little bit cheesier. I mean, I am an Ewok fan, but sometimes I think it's a little too much Ewok. But the final battle is amazing, and yeah, I mean, it's it's still an A. So
yeah, the Ewoks pull up my heart in this movie. I was watching it not like an hour ago, and it was, yeah, they are very prominent in the movie, but they're cool, they're funny.
Yeah, I'd have to say, like, as far as parts of the movie that really stand out to me as far as my favorite parts of the movie, it would start probably with the barge scene. I think that was really, really well done. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie. And then the speeder chase, of course, was just insane. And of course, I know that we're going to review everything and go through it and talk a little bit more about those little spots. But and then, of course, the battle at the end and kind of Anakin's return / spoiler alert, Vader's redemption kind of story at the end. So really those, and the Ewoks as well. I'm a fan as well.
Yeah. And one of the things I really did like about the movie, because when Empire, they basically split all the characters up and they're all on their own little missions where they kind of do come back. I know Leia kind of goes off on her little own part, and then Luke eventually leaves at the end as well. But it's cool to see the whole gang back together like it was in the original. That's like one of my favorite parts.
And it didn't start. The movie doesn't start with them together. So the kind of them, the action of them kind of coming together, and the movie story kind of following them rejoining and meeting each other again. That was super cool.
Yeah, especially when they get back from Jabba and Luke comes back from Dagobah, and just the way he walks in, he's like, "Count me in too." This is awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So I'm just literally starting the movie there, clicking it through, and we're starting with Vader. Doesn't look happy. So what did I miss in the beginning? Who was he chasing?
Are you talking about him arriving on the new Death Star?
That's correct. Yeah, he arrives on the new Death Star.
Yeah,
and then we cut to Tatooine, don't we?
Because they're behind schedule.
Yeah.
That's why
he's not happy.
And he tells him that the Emperor is coming, and he's like, "We will double our efforts."
Because this is the first time we see the Emperor in the OG series, right? We see him as a hologram in the second one,
right? Yeah.
But this is the first time we see him in person, and for the very little lines that Ian McDermott has in this, he steals the show every time he's on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, what did you think to the second Death Star? Like, I wish they did. I like that it was not complete and it kind of looked different.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gave a good plot line, because if it was complete, it would have been hard to continuity to say that it was a different one.
Well, and it makes sense that that's why they have the shield generator on the forest moon of Endor. So it kind of makes sense, because if it's not completely operational, which that's what the rebels think, it's not operational. So it's a nice little ploy by the Emperor and Vader and all them, and so it definitely made it look like it wasn't complete, because like you said, it literally, like, in my eyes, I'm like, did they build this thing overnight? I mean, because I don't think there's that much time that went in between them finding Solo. Like, maybe a month. I don't even know if it's that long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get the idea that it's that long of a time. I mean, maybe it is. I know there's a bunch of comics that there's stories that take place between the two movies. I don't know exactly what the canon answer on that is, but
okay. And then in the movie, obviously, we cut to Tatooine pretty early, don't we? And we come up to some probably my favorite scenes of the movie, are the beginning bit, because it reminds me so much of when we watched Boba Fett and Mandalorian, because of we get the scenes with the green, I don't know what they're called, the green pigs, what are they called?
Okay, Gamorrean guards.
Gamorrean guards, that's it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we get those, and we get to finally meet Jabba. We meet Jabba for the first time, don't we? I could be completely wrong,
so
but I believe it's the first time.
You're not wrong. They did add in, was it Empire?
A New Hope.
Or A New Hope. They added the scene in the hangar, where Jabba arrives and speaks to Han Solo, and in the original series that was not there, so they computer added him. I guess it was New Hope. And where Jabba threatens him and says, you owe me a lot of money, blah blah blah, but whatever it is he says.
Yeah, actually, no, he doesn't. It's in the New Hope. He says he's trying to get Han to go do the. He's trying to actually get him to go do the job, and so So the idea is that he does the job for Jabba in between 4 and 5.
Oh, right.
That's why later on he's like, you know, I dump. I think he says it. If you dump the or because when
he dumped the cargo.
Yeah, he saw this. There's some comment about him dumping the cargo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So technically, you're right. It is the first time in the original screening. It's the first time we saw Jabba.
Right.
And then they added him in 1999 or whenever they did the remake and the remastering and the re-release of them. They did add that computer generated Jabba in.
And then we pretty much, like 15 minutes into the movie, we cut to a pretty good scene where we have somebody coming in with a droid. Is it Leia that comes in with the droids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as the bounty hunter.
She comes.
You're talking about coming in. She comes in with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
The droids arrive themselves.
Yeah, she comes in with Chewie.
Yeah.
Cool. I wanted to ask you guys. As the Star Wars fans, who is the crazy fuzzy furball dude that's singing?
He was added, and I don't know.
Okay.
The girl with the long nose lips or whatever.
And the crazy fuzzy guy with the big mouth and teeth.
Oh yeah, that dude.
That guy. The growly voice or whatever. He was added. I don't know any information about if that's canon or if he's some kind of race that is in other Star Wars, stuff that's out there. I don't know.
That dude kind of.
I'm not a fan, but
that dude you're talking about kind of looks like the creature in Mandalorian that Grogu forces out of the cave in the trailer. That's kind of who he looks like.
You're talking about the season 3 trailer.
Yeah. Because we were trying to figure out what kind of creature that was. It's kind of.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it because I'm wanting to be completely and totally surprised. So
yeah, there's not a whole lot in there, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, and everybody's like, "Why don't you watch it? Why don't you watch it?" All my friends are like, "Yeah, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna wait."
Yeah.
So I specifically have not, just because I have this nightmare that I have continuously had that they're gonna fuck up season 3 and mess it up. But sorry for the F-bomb.
No, but
so yeah, we have a bounty hunter coming with Chewie, and they're offering this deal to Jabba, and Jabba isn't really interested, but then they're holding us a very nice pop.
My second favorite Funko Pop.
I'm literally have my scene paused on the exact moment with the detonator right now.
Yep.
In the hands. So yeah, that's really cool that you even know where I'm going with this line.
This is my
holding a thermal detonator.
Right. There it is. This was my first grill I acquired. This one right here.
Nice. That
very nice.
I approve wholeheartedly.
I love that.
You know my first grill. It's Damon.
Dude, there was a point in time during COVID because I added 3 tattoos during COVID. Because what else are you supposed to do besides get tattooed and get Funko Pops?
Yeah.
Dude, there was a point I almost got this tattooed on my back, almost. But then I thought better of it because I'm like, not sure if that's and so I ended up getting a Star Wars tattoo instead. It's really nice, but I was close. I was close to that.
So, as diehard fans, how long did it take you guys to know that this bounty hunter was Leia? Did you know instantly? Or were you fooled?
I mean, I was young. I was way too young.
Yeah.
So that it was a surprise to me. But I don't know. It kind of, looking back on it, later on when I saw the movie later on in my life, I'm like, I think I maybe thought that was the case, as a kid. But the thing is that both A New Hope and Empire came out, and I was really, really young. And so at that point, we didn't have a VCR. I had seen.
You had to wait a year and a half for a movie to come out on a tape. It was a year and a half.
Yeah, right. And so for me, I had seen Empire, and I think I had seen A New Hope, but A New Hope came out when I was 3. So, I I definitely remember wanting to see it. I remember kind of enjoying the movie. I remember understanding what was going on. Like I knew enough about Star Wars from, schoolyard talks with my friends and all that kind of stuff about like what the movie was and what the story was and kind of that. But as far as knowing that was Leia, I don't know. Like later on, I assumed when I was an adult, seeing it later after the remaster or whatever, seeing it again after so many years, I was like, oh, that's Leia. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, So I don't know if I remembered it or if I was like figured it out when I was little beforehand. I don't know.
Just jump into the chat and make sure we say hello to everybody. Anthony Blaze is shouting at me in the chat as always. Everybody knows
Hey,
Anthony Blaze likes to shout at me. Funko, thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate you.
Hey,
thank you everybody for the amazing birthday messages. Papa Missouri says, "Is my Jar Jar in this one? Is my man Jar Jar in this one?"
No, he's Bantha fodder.
He is Bantha fodder.
He's Bantha. He's not in this one, unfortunately.
Ned and I agree about our wholeheartedly our opinions on Jar Jar Binks. And
Anthony Blaze says, "Damn, Ryan doesn't even say hi." Hello, Anthony.
One thing I didn't notice when we were on the live, I think because we had a lot of people and your picture wasn't so big, Ned, but we both have dimples, which I thought is very interesting. They're very distinct.
Oh, like over here?
Yeah. I've got
I think
big.
So.
Everybody has always told me about mine.
Good evening, Mr. Umpty Scratch. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Umpty was just saying hello. He just said happy birthday. And Baby Ice is letting everybody know to smash the like button. Use the Jedi Force to smash that like button. Please do.
Baby Ice is awesome.
Headless dropped a link earlier on to Robbie B. Poppins' Instagram. So make sure you go over there, follow, subscribe, do all those things that we do as content creators. It's basically public stalking, but it's fine. We appreciate it and we accept it over here.
I have to think if I have anything embarrassing on there. So I think naked pool pics are only on Facebook. But
Anthony, you don't need to leave. We're just pulling your leg.
Love you, Anthony. Stay. We're just getting started.
So yeah, we get the infamous scene, don't we, in the story? I love this part. It's very well done. We get Han back. Leia releases him from the cabinet under the watchful eye of Jabba. We don't know that at the first.
I do have to say, kind of like, obviously they didn't know back then, but having Boba Fett in the scene and where he kind of gives her a nod and everything, him, of course, not knowing that it's Leia, when she's the bounty hunter, because she pulls out the thermal detonator and Jabba's impressed and Boba Fett's impressed because he's a bounty hunter as well. I thought that was pretty neat, especially now that we've got the other shows and the other information and kind of like the things that happened after the Sarlacc pit, and I know that we're getting to that scene next, but I thought the nod in this, especially after seeing Book of Boba Fett, was super cool, and just kind of watching it again now after seeing The Mandalorian, picking up on those kind of additional little things makes me really enjoy the movie that much more. I like it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
It's super cool.
I think it's just like it's a sign of respect because he obviously he knows who Chewie is. He knows what a Wookiee is. So I think it's a huge sign of respect, saying, "Oh man, you grew up a Wookiee. Good job." And does he know if it's Chewbacca? I don't know. I mean, how many Wookiees are walking around, but.
Yeah, I think they said Chewbacca, and he probably knew enough that it was there. And I don't know if he was saying congrats on getting Chewbacca or getting a Wookiee, or congrats on pulling out a thermal detonator, because the nod is like after, and then she agrees to the bounty price and blah blah blah. And so I don't know if it was like cool, you pulled out a thermal detonator to whatever. Like good move, or cool, you got the bounty, Chewie bounty, whatever, and or maybe both. Yeah, who knows? But
do you, Ryan? Do you want before we keep going further? Do you want to show that scene, or
sure?
let's talk about the barge first, and then when he first uses it, we'll pull it out.
Yeah. I was going to suggest that.
Is that the barge when he goes out? Right. Okay.
Yeah. So keep going.
So
that's the first time we see the green lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. Well, we would literally just got to the point in the movie where Han is released from the carbonite and Leia's talking to him, and he's a little bit blinded. He doesn't understand where he is and what's going on, and it's Leia's voice that I love how she takes the mask off, and as soon as she takes the mask off, we lose the alien style voice, and it's back to her. And yeah, I like that. It's a very good scene. And then we cut to Jabba, and he is talking with his friend with the snake tail around his shoulder. I don't know his name. I do apologize. Bib Fortuna. Okay. Yeah, he's a cool character, and he looks like he's leaving the arena with Jabba, and he comes across a Jedi. Luke Skywalker turns up, and he is telling him that he needs to go see Jabba, and he's using his mind tricks, of course, and it's working. So he gets an introduction with Jabba, and he explains to Jabba that he must be seen, he must be spoken to, and Jabba tells him
the big one.
He's using an old Jedi mind trick on you. You know, you're weak, and all this kind of stuff. And Luke doesn't. I don't even think Luke realizes, because Luke tries to use it on Jabba in the movie, and it doesn't work. And Jabba tells him, "Your mind tricks don't work on me, fool." Basically.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed that. And yeah, then he's standing on a grid. C-3PO, R2-D2, no, C-3PO does try to warn him, but it gets shut down. He doesn't listen, does he? Because he says, "Master Jedi, you're standing on a grid," and then he ends up falling through the shaft. We come to the scene with the Rancor, which is pretty cool. And it was a very good shot. The other thing I was going to say about Boba,
the Rancor is
I didn't see anything different.
Yeah, the cool thing about the Rancor is that what they also did in Boba Fett as well with the Rancor, and it always kind of struck me funny that the trainer was so, like, he was crying over this monster that had just been killed by Luke Skywalker, and it always was like, why is he crying? It was always kind of one of these weird things that I was like, okay, that's kind of whatever, and that's kind of silly. But then learning more about the Rancor and their history and how they're trained, and like the connection that a Rancor has with its owner when they first removed the blinders and everything. So getting that kind of backstory about Rancor mythology or whatever the case is was super cool. And again, it made the trainer guy being upset much less silly and much less kind of superfluous, you know what I mean, and pointless. Like in the original movie, it's like, okay, what does that really advance the story? Is it like, does it mean anything? What is that? That just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so
one of the cheesiest ways for a big monster to go down. It is so funny when it happens. It just closes the door on him, and he's that's it.
Yeah, I liked it as a kid. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
Again, my grandma and my great aunt were both super grossed out. But
I just remember yelling like, "Oh, that's your lightsaber! What are you doing?" But then we find out later that he didn't even have it on him.
Right.
So another sacrilege question from a non-Star Wars fan: who's the blue dude?
Who's
the blue dude with the long snout?
Oh,
long ears.
The dude that's playing the piano. That's Max Rebo. What are you talking about, bro? You don't know Max?
I know he's in the band, but
we think he
keeps surviving.
Yeah, we think he died in Boba Fett, but I've heard that he might be coming back again.
When they blew up the cantina,
yeah. Actually, quick little story there. The actor is I can't remember his name right now, but he's going to ICCC in Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
Which I will be at. So I need to find myself a Max Rebo Funko Pop now.
Do they have one?
I'm thinking of going maybe to Liverpool, because we're going to have Bella Ramsey, and she's only like $35 for an autograph. So
wait. What's happening with Bella Ramsey?
She's going to go to a Liverpool Comic-Con in the UK this year.
Are you going?
She's like, I might try and go because it's really cheap and it's like $35 for a signature. So.
Oh, I definitely want that. I'll have to send you my pop.
Liliana Mormont.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's Max. Even I knew that
Right.
well after Headless said it. So yeah, we come to the infamous barge scene. We are introduced to a creature in the ground, and they are feeding the enemies, the bad guys, into this ground to be eaten. We later obviously found out in Boba more to do with the creature, and I think that was pretty cool when we see him in. Is he in Slave One when he's shooting it?
Yeah.
No, I love that in Boba. One of the most amazing scenes that we watched. So yeah, we're at the barge scene. Do you want me to? You want to explain what this clip is that we're going to be showing, or?
Well, okay, yeah, I can. So, during the barge scene, we get to see that, Luke does that to R2, and R2 shoots off the lightsaber, which is why he didn't have it during the Rancor fight. And so there is a deleted scene that never made it to the movie or the special edition. So it's about 20 seconds long. It's rather short, but there is a scene that we get to see Luke constructing his lightsaber, actually his new one, before R2 and C-3PO actually jump over to the his castle or whatever. So let's go ahead and play it. It's about 20 seconds.
Nice. Nice. Green lightsaber.
Yeah.
Right after that, in the deleted scene, you see R2D2 and C-3PO leave to go to the canteen, to Jabba's palace. And they also, right just after that, they show a shot of the Millennium Falcon in the sand,
in the distance,
kind of below this cave that he's in, which I thought was pretty cool, and would have been cool for continuity's sake if we had seen that in the original movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gives him the nod. Lando's there in his outfit, hiding in disguise. And then, like you said, yeah, I want to question the attire of Han Solo, because he looks like he's wearing a chef's white outfit when he comes out. I'm like, what's he wearing? Okay, so this Droopy McCool.
So here's Droopy. Droopy is pretty awesome. How many? Here we go. So there's Droopy McCool.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's something else. I'm not sure exactly what's happening up here, but yeah, he is pretty cool, and he's related to everyone's favorite, Max Rebo. And there's Max. So there you go.
Okay.
He looks sad.
And he is a fan favorite that everybody goes crazy if he dies.
Everyone loves him. And then, of course, we have the computer-generated size noodles, which this is actually probably from Clone Wars or something. But
yeah, that completely took me out of the movie. I was completely sidetracked.
Yeah,
we don't acknowledge this character.
I expected that to be in something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Other one. Yeah,
if you've all seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit or something, I can imagine that character being in there, or like Men in Black.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Worse than Jar Jar.
Yeah,
worse than Jar Jar.
At least we don't have to deal with that. I can fast forward that scene and never have to see her again. So
exactly, just fast forward it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Luke does the fantastic scene where Jabba says, "Put him in the hole," and then he jumps off the pirate board and then kind of flings himself back up with the Force and grabs the lightsaber in the air, does a somersault, and then he betrays to go on a slaying spree with his green lightsaber, which is pretty cool. I'm guessing that's a Funko moment as well, the barge scene.
It is. In fact, they're just coming out with a new one, which is super cool. They're releasing the first two, which is Luke Skywalker and
who was it? It wasn't Boba, was it? It was Boba.
It might have been. Was Lando on the barge?
Is it? I guess I'm trying to think. But is it the smaller barge? Not the one. It's not the one when they jump onto the actual ship, right?
Right. So I'm guessing that I'm looking at the picture now and remembering the Funko, because the Funko, they're doing it in series and they're releasing the first two, and then I think there's either going to be 6 or 7. I think there's 6, but you can join them together to make the whole barge. But I believe it's not Jabba's barge; it's the smaller barge that they're on, getting ready to toss them into the Snarlack pit. So
The Snarlack pit. Okay.
and looking at so it's definitely the smaller barge, and it has to be. I'm just looking at the scene here. Chewie's on the barge.
Chewie, Lando. There's a couple.
Han's there.
I'm really surprised I can't find this on the internet. How is this not on there?
I just saw the release of it like a week ago, so it's brand new.
I remember seeing a picture of it. I could have swore I saw a picture of this.
I saw a picture too. It's definitely the smaller barge.
The one that they swing to after it, just before it blows up.
Yeah, after.
Yep. Yeah, so they're releasing that. Like I said, it's a series, and each one is going to come with like a piece of the barge that you like snap together to make the full barge, and then a character with it. So like instead of a base, they did that with kind of like the some of those larger pops that were like I've got Kitty Pryde that was like an exclusive or something that's like a larger thing, and you can join to make. Yeah, there it is, Chewbacca, and so it's on the right hand side there.
So Chewie and
Luke.
Jeremy Knapp said it's going to have Luke, Han, Lando, Boba Fett, Chewie, and one of the pirates.
Okay, so there you go. So that's what it's going to look like.
The Chewie looks super awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
It does actually look cool. I like that they do that kind of stuff, that they make stuff that
I feel like I need
collectors need to collect to connect
longer.
it.
This lightsaber needs to be longer. What's up with that?
Yeah. I mean, I do have to wonder if they're going to be all Target exclusive as well, which I don't mind. That's awesome.
Well, wasn't the one that did the one they did with the Sith? Wasn't that GameStop exclusives? All 4?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
So just skipping through notable moments. Is it Boba Fett? Does he fall into the Sarlacc pit in this movie?
He does.
Yeah.
During this scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure if it was him or not. Yeah, he falls into the Sarlacc pit, which is really cool because we obviously in this trilogy we believe that that's the end of him. We don't know anything different.
Yep.
And then we come to the movie Boba Fett series, and we find out that he kind of kept himself alive in there, and it was pretty cool. Pretty cool
for 30 plus years. So that's what everybody.
Yeah, right.
30 plus years. Speaking of which, and I will say, while I'm bagging all of the crap that they did to this movie to destroy it when they did the remastering and the re-release, what they did to the Sarlacc pit was just dumb. Like adding the fucking mouth and the dumb crap. Like, why? Crackheads, why are you doing this crap? Stop it. Stop messing up my movie. Because it looks horrible. I mean, they didn't, even for 2000 or 99 or whenever the heck it was, Matrix looked better than this crap. Like, if they could do Matrix in 97, they could have done a better job with the Sarlacc. They made it look like a Muppet. Like, why? And I get it. Like, okay, rant mostly over. And I get it. George Lucas, like, what he has said through the very beginning and his whole answer for Jar Jar Binks and blah, 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 is that Star Wars is for kids. And okay, fine. So the fact that it looks like a Muppet, okay, maybe that's the feel they were going for or something. I don't know. But I get it. It's supposed to be for kids. But they could have done better. The original was far better. That just, that with some, tendrils coming out was fine.
And that's why we decided to bring Robbie on, guys, because we know that he's very passionate about this movie, and and he definitely has some thoughts to share with us.
Yeah.
So we basically they get away. It all blows up, doesn't it? The ship blows up.
Yep.
I like how it's only just hovering above the sand, and then it blows up and it just dips, and that's it.
Yep.
It's now landed on the sand, and then the crazy explosion. They fly off screen. They all get away pretty much, and then we cut to the Death Star.
Yep.
And
I thought it was interesting that they put the wreckage of the barge in. I believe it was also Boba Fett, was it not?
Oh yeah, we get to see the end of it. Yeah, the wreckage of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I kind of feel like scavengers would have kind of traveled out and recycled the aluminum or something, or grabbed. Yeah. There would have been people scavenging that more than. But I thought it was kind of cool nod to the movies in the new stuff that's been released, but not necessarily believable as far as it still being there as a wreckage. But whatever.
So yeah, we see the Emperor
He goes to
and
Dagobah.
Vader.
Yeah,
He's talking to him, and then we cut to Luke going to Dagobah.
Yep.
And quite a sad scene. And then I think Headless.
And then the Emperor
I had a question
on the Death Star
in an earlier episode regarding Yoda and Grogu, and you said just wait because we'll get to a point which is impossible because something happens. I forgot that we lose Yoda in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of hit me in the feels a little bit watching it yesterday and today because I watched it twice and I was like, damn, he does die in this one. He turns into the Force Ghost and stuff. So
Force Ghost,
yeah, it was a pretty crazy. Any thoughts on Yoda before we move on? Any want to say anything about that?
900 years you reach, look as good you will not. One of my favorite lines from the movie.
I always thought that it was weird that he died all of a sudden. I mean, whatever. I guess he's old, but like he's training him. And again, like how much time has really passed? That's where the original trilogy kind of gets me a little bit is how much time has actually passed in between these episodes. Like I can understand, like even if you think about A New Hope, from what we learned with Han, he's got to go at the end of the movie because he's got a bounty on his head. And then one of the first things he says when they're back at Echo Base, he's like, I gotta do whatever he says. I can't remember what he says. He's like, I got a bounty on my head, and it's like, okay, so how long have you had this bounty on your head? Like, I don't know how many years you're supposed to think of his past. Because I'm like, dude, if you had a bounty on your head, it can't be years. I would think it wouldn't be years.
I mean, you'd think Jabba would let it go eventually. Like,
I know.
Really?
It's just a little odd, I guess. It's just the timing and these movies are just a little weird. We don't really ever get anything. I mean, again, that's something I can always look up. I'm sure there's something out there in canon, but because I know there's a ton of comic books made for in between both of these movies, really.
Yeah. And ultimately, personally, while I do enjoy Clone Wars, I enjoyed Bad Batch, I enjoyed Mandalorian very much, and then of course the Book of Boba Fett, and the connection in all of these places. What I usually look for as a fan and a Star Wars kind of fan is to be entertained. Did they do a good job with the story? That kind of thing. I am not so much canon crazy. Like I'm not so much one to say, well, that's not canon, or to poo-poo a scene or a show or an episode, whether it be Clone Wars, Bad Batch, whatever, because that's not canon or that's not this or that. So I'm a bit different in that way. A lot of my friends kind of give me shit for that, but whatever. It is what it is. If I like the movie and it's entertaining to me, then I'm easy.
Mm-hmm. So Luke goes to R2-D2 being sad that Yoda's died, and he goes to him, he says, I can't do it, R2. I can't do this alone. I can't go on alone. And then he gets another visit from Ben Kenobi and says, Yoda will always be with you. And he talks to him about his father, Darth Vader, and he explains to him that he's more machine than he is man now, and that he is no longer Anakin and he's now just Darth Vader. And because he feels betrayed that he never told him that that he was basically his father. So because he all the way through that, when he finds out, he's more upset with why didn't Ben tell me? Yeah. So I think maybe Ben probably should have told him going forward. I think he should have given him that information and said, look, the bad guy. We're training you to be a Jedi because you're the guy that's going to hopefully save this thing, and your dad is the guy that was supposed to be this person but turned out to be bad. But he gives him quite good information just before we cut to the rebels. He says Yoda told them of another. Yoda says that there is another, and I'm guessing in this movie it's referencing Leia, you know, because they're twins, and he doesn't know about Leia just yet. But I don't know. I don't think Leia is the other. I think there's another that could be Grogu. It could not be. We'll see. But yeah, and people think I might be wrong because he's been trained as a Mandalorian, and how is he going to save the Jedi if he's a Mandalorian and doesn't become a Jedi? But we'll see. I would like Yoda to be a Jedi, in my opinion, not a Mandalorian. But yeah, you think he'll be both?
Mm-hmm. I think he'll be the second ever Mandalorian Jedi. That's what I think.
Yep.
Real quick.
The first one is the one who created the Darksaber, and so the second one would be Grogu. I agree.
Mm-hmm. So really quick, the original trilogy years. So BBY. So that's before the Battle of Yavin. So Rogue One and A New Hope take place in 0 BBY. Empire Strikes Back takes place in 3 BBY. So it's 3 years later. And I mean, I guess it makes sense. And then Return of the Jedi is set in 4 BBY, so it's 1 year later. So here's the real, like, again, I understand, like, he got burned, right? But it says Luke Skywalker is 19 years old in A New Hope, and he completes his Jedi training at 23 years old. Anakin Skywalker is 45 years old when he dies. I mean, he looks a little older than that. Which is why they probably replaced him with Anakin in the special edition. Or was it special edition? No, they didn't even know. It wasn't even a special edition. I don't think.
I don't have a clue.
I believe it was.
It was after.
At the same time. Yeah, it was at the same time that they added the musician and, you know, the.
Well, it could have been 99 because Hanny Hayden wasn't even part of Star Wars yet when they released all those special editions. So I know there was another release. Too.
Oh, there was. Yeah.
After
when
the
did
prequels?
When did the third prequel come out? What year was that?
5.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think I want to say it was 2010. They did kind of a 10-year anniversary of the remastering. I want to say, or a 5-year or something. I don't know. But
one of my favorite scenes in the next part, when we're in the Rebel base, is Han saying goodbye to the Millennium Falcon. When it looks like he says a line, doesn't he, that he may never see it again. It feels like
I feel like I'm never going to see her again. Yeah, which of course we know he does, but
yeah.
It says 2004. There was a DVD release, Return of the Jedi, and that's when the original, who was Sebastian Shaw, was replaced by Anakin Skywalker, who was Hayden Christensen. So it was 2004. So right before Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Interesting.
So then, please educate me. What planet do we go to with Luke and everybody? Endor.
It's a moon.
The moon.
Yeah, it's a moon.
Okay.
So never mind. That's a conversation for next weekend or 2 weekends from now when we talk about Rise. But
okay, yeah, I'm not sure about Rise. I don't think I've seen it, but yeah. So we're on the moon of Endor, and here this is, you know, it's a very playful scenes. We find some Ewoks, and yeah, at first we don't know if they're friendly or not because they're kind of hiding behind a log from them and not knowing what's going on. They're very funny, they're very cute, but they also can seem to be very dangerous at the same time once they're all together. You know, I like the noises that they make.
While I'm queuing this up, Ryan, just one quick thing that I will say is the addition of the special effects, which happened right before the time you were talking about right here, is something that they added that I really did like. They did actually add in the remastering. They added like a lot of lights on the fleet, on the Empire fleet, and some of the big Star Cruisers and everything had extra like blue lights added and stuff like that. It was a bunch of subtle stuff, but it really did. It made the kind of the space shots right before they get to Endor before the rebels arrive on Endor. It made it much more realistic, and as far as the remastering and adding of graphics, I was kind of neither here nor there on the whole Halo when the Death Star explodes. We'll get to that, but the space scenes and kind of the space shots that they kind of spruced up, I really, really liked. That was one of the things that they added that I liked. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there because there's a scene right before they arrive on Endor where
both of you please feel free to jump in at any point, because I'm not a biggest Star Wars fan as you guys, so if I could easily look over something. Like, I came in here tonight and you guys were talking about Luke and a green lightsaber. I didn't even realize it changed color. You know. But that's why we did this. That's why we did this. It's because it
Ryan,
made me more of a fan, because we're digging into stuff.
You're kicked out of the club. Really, you've lost your Star Wars card.
Okay, bye. I'll just leave you two to run the show.
You're fired, Ryan.
Crazy.
You're fired. No, but now you know. See, this is kind of stuff you can learn, which is super cool.
So I want to know, was Warwick Davis in one of these Ewok suits?
Yep. Yeah, he's Wicket. He's Wicket. He's the one who
he's the main one. He's all the interaction between Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, and the Ewok. So that Ewok name is Wicket. He was like breakout star of the show at the time when it was released, or the movie when it was released. All the kids, including myself, my brothers, all my friends at school, their favorite part of the Return of the Jedi movie was Wicket. We absolutely loved that Ewok. I don't know why, but it's a thing. And of course the speeders, the speeder in the forest, and the hitting the tree stump, and
it's pretty cool.
We loved that. But breakout star of the movie, and still one of my favorite characters to this day is Wicket. And yes, that is Warwick Davis.
Okay.
As a kid,
I will give you one of my pet peeves scenes of the whole movie. I really don't like the whole scene through the woods chasing on the bikes and stuff.
Why?
It just looks janky. It just looks weird. The sound, and I feel like it drags on too much.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really taking your Star Wars card. I mean, really?
Wow.
Yeah, like you have these little furry fuzzballs standing there, and then the next minute this ship comes flying with high speed, and it doesn't really knock them very far. Just a little bit, when they crash into them. And I don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch these scenes, but yeah, I was a little bit weird by it. I prefer things in space.
It's all good, Ryan. Go ahead, poo-poo my favorite scene in the movie. Go ahead.
It's a great scene.
One of my favorite scenes.
Wow.
Anyway, whatever.
And you got to remember, you guys are the Star Wars fans. I'm a Star Wars fan, but not to the point where I notice different colored lightsabers. And
well, let me just say that when I saw that scene in the theaters, nothing had ever been done even remotely close to that speeder scene in the woods, in the forest. It was insanely impressive in the 80s. Insanely impressive.
I've literally got it watching now, and it is pretty cool. Like, Luke chops the front of it off and it goes spinning into a tree and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So some of the scenes are really cool, but I do think that they added a lot of stuff there that they probably could have just cut out a little bit more of it. But
it
that's
is
just
very original they didn't change a lot in the speeder bike scene. A lot of that was in the original movie. The sounds that you're talking about, the pew pews, the spinning, and Luke cutting it off, all of that, in addition to the explosions and the fire, all of that was in the original movie.
Okay. Yeah, so then we cut to another scene where Leia's being cute with Wicket, feeding it what looks like some sort of bread or something. He's doing pretty cool, and she takes her helmet off and he freaks out. Absolutely freaks out with his spear, like, what are you doing?
I believe it was
not
chocolate.
Gonna hurt you.
It might have been white chocolate, because maybe they changed it to white, but I always believed when I was a kid that it was a candy bar. But
I was just looking at it, just looked white.
I
so yeah, I assumed bread, but it looks.
I noticed
probably
that.
could
I'm
be
like,
candy.
oh, I thought he gave her chocolate, or I thought she gave him chocolate, but they don't actually say what it is. It's some kind of ration, so it probably was disgusting, but he liked it. But
Should have given
I
him the
always
script
liked
for Willow.
seeing
Then he would
that it
have
was a
freaked out even
Snickers
more.
bar or a Hershey's bar or whatever. What did you say?
Should have gave him the script for Willow. He would have freaked out even more.
Oh my god. While I don't disagree, okay.
Yeah, we cut to the Death Star again, and we see. I think it's the introduction of the first time we see the Red Guards. Is that the first time we see the Red Guards in the franchise?
Imperial Guards.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
they're
that there were, that was way before the speeder bike scene, though. You're going way back because they did show the Red Guards when the Emperor arrived, and he's already there. He's already on the Death Star. The Emperor's already arrived.
Yeah, I just watched Vader come down the lift to go talk to, and then I see the two guards.
So the Emperor did arrive before the speeder bike scene, and the speeder bike scene happens. And so they do actually show the Red Guard for the very first time was then, which was actually before the speeder bike scene.
Yeah, and the Emperor tells Vader that the passion is strong with Luke, and that will be his downfall. And he did also told him to remain on the command ship. So he kind of disobeyed an order that was given to him, which is good, good storytelling and foreshadowing for what's to come. A small rebel force has penetrated the shield and landed on Endor, says Vader. Very interesting. I just love the Emperor. Yeah.
And he doesn't say Skywalker. He says my son, which I thought that was very interesting as well. When he's speaking to the Emperor, he didn't say young Skywalker is with them. He said my son is with them. So, and that might be, kind of one of the first small things that they did in the script to kind of foreshadow what happens at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then going forward again with the storyline, we cut back to Endor. And one of my favorite scenes of this movie was when the Ewoks capture the group. They capture them and they're holding them hostage, and they've got Han stuck to a pig, stuck to a stick like a pig roast. And I think next they're just going to start putting him under a fire and start spinning him. We're going to get cooked ham. It works like
pig
that.
On a spit.
And then, we get the revelation that obviously C-3PO can understand him and understand them because he's trained in however many million languages. And I think it's pretty cool that he's just there as a plot device to be able to understand any foreign language that the listener doesn't quite understand with their ears.
Right.
We come up with the revelation of like, well, why don't you tell them? Luke tells him, tell them to release us or you'll use your powers. And he tells them, and obviously
powers?
Nothing. Yeah, what powers? Nothing happens. And then Luke goes into his Zen state. I love how Luke, whenever he uses the Force, he has to go into a Zen state. He has to go like, and then he can use it.
That's not how the Force works.
Exactly. Exactly. So is this, do you guys like this scene? Or am I picking out a scene that's not good?
No.
Oh,
It's
great.
cool. As a kid, I liked it a lot, and I was, as an adult watching it back, I liked it as well. And so right after this, of course, while they're in kind of moving forward, is when Luke tells Leia that, you're my sister, which of course, when this scene happened as an adult later on watching it, I thought some of the previous interactions in some of the other movies between Luke and Leia were really gross. Like where they were kissing, and I was like, okay, they were way too familiar to be brother and sister before. Like, don't you know? And then looking it back, like knowing that they're brother and sister, watching those scenes again in A New Hope and Empire, I was like, ew.
Well, then I'm going to have to kick you from the team because I'm a Game of Thrones fan and I love incest. So
okay. Well,
if I'm getting kicked to the curb because I didn't like a speeder thing.
Well,
I'm joking.
I
No, it was a bit weird.
Some mild incest, whatever. But I don't know. It was just one of those things. I was like, okay, you're kissing your
Yeah.
brother. I think it was Cloud City. I want to say, but
No. It happens early in the movie when she's basically making Han jealous. Is why she even does it.
yeah.
It's like, and they have, and at that point, they have absolutely no idea. And I don't even know if George knew at that point.
Yeah,
He asked her about her mother, and
Right.
she says that she died when she was young, and she never knew her mother.
Yeah, I don't think she ever actually had those type of feelings for Luke. I think it was more to make Han jealous. Because then you see what happens later in the movie. So
the other thing I thought was
the only scene that she ever acts like that with him.
Right, and I thought it was interesting that Luke asked her, "Do you remember your mother?"
Mhm.
Because, like, and of course, obviously, we're getting the same thing in that, obviously, back when this movie happened, they didn't know about the prequels, and nobody did, until years and years later. But she died in childbirth, basically. So Leia would not technically have been able to remember anything about her real mother. So
but again,
I mean,
but the canon answer for that is because she is force sensitive.
Yeah,
so she's still
right.
able to, bring those, those type of images to her head, or
And
whatever.
even to the point where she could have been a Jedi, I believe, like her surviving the whole space thing in the later movies and shit, was super cool and everything. But it was very obvious, and they have established now that we've seen some of the other stuff, they've established that she is actually very strong and very powerful and could have easily become a Jedi if that kind of was the storyline or whatever, which I thought was super cool. I wasn't a big fan of the later movies and the stuff, and I know you're going to get to them, but but that part, it's obvious she's very powerful, which I thought was super cool that they were able to do it, and that the fact that they were able to get Carrie Fisher to do it, which was super cool as well. Mm-hmm. So.
And I like the next scene. One of my favorite. I probably say this quite a lot through this movie, but the scene with Vader and Luke on the bridge standway where they're talking with each other. Yep. I think that's one of the best scenes because literally the hero and the villain of the entire show, and they're just having a normal conversation. There's no threat between any of them. They could have had a whole holy war right there, a whole lightsaber battle on the ship on that landing, and they don't.
And I know there's still good in you, which is why I know you won't take me before the Emperor now, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yep. Which he ends up doing, and then my father is truly dead. And that's where he talks about his lightsaber, because he actually...
I see you have constructed a new lightsaber, and he fires up the green one, yeah.
Yep.
Your skills are complete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well done. That's literally the lines that are on my screen right now, that your skills are complete. Crazy. And then we see General Akbar. Is that right, his name?
Admiral.
It's a trap! Admiral Akbar.
Admiral, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the name of this episode, guys. It's a trap. Star Wars. Episode 6 review. And then, we're literally just hopping back. So we end up throughout the rest of this movie, pretty much, as I'm clipping through now, we have scenes...
Yep.
Vader
where they bounce back and
then bounce back to Endor and then bounce back and then bounce back.
We're trying to get the shield down, yada yada yada.
Yeah. And I like all the scenes with the red leaders and the gold leaders, and I've always liked that kind of stuff in the show when they go through all that stuff. It's very strategic.
And it's pretty early on when Luke kind of enters into the final situation. Like they bring Luke before the Emperor, and there's still almost an hour left in the movie. Like bam, he's there. And then of course they're bouncing back to the battle and to Endor to try to get the shield down and yada yada yada. But I thought that part was cool as well. That he was just there and that it's drawing it out very dramatically.
Yeah, and they're basically showing how Luke, there's no escape. His side of his side of the people are going to lose in this battle and stuff. And you do also kind of see that the Empire aren't really trying to do anything bad. They're just trying to get away. They're just trying to stay. They're just trying to get time to fill it. It seemed before they could fire the weapon. The Death Star.
Well, I mean, it's operational. Their whole plan was to try to get them to come through the shield, but then they find out the shield is actually up. So I mean, I think it's pretty much operation. I mean, maybe not the whole movie, but I think it's pretty much operational because that was
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think because very early on in the movie, 30 minutes or so in, when the Emperor first arrives on the Death Star, he says to Vader, "You've done well," which I'm taking that to mean that it's operational or it's about to be, because I guess he does say it will be operational, I guess, to the Emperor on schedule, which to me, I had the same kind of thought. It had to be already done or at least very close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got the impression that later on in the episode, one of the people say, one of the bad guys say it's ready to fire, and then they have to wait for the Emperor's decision, you know, and he tells them over the comm, fire at will. And then so I was just assuming that the whole battle in the sky that Luke is watching was just a deterrent. It felt like it was just a deterrent to keep him looking through, and then they fired that to show him how powerful the weapon was. But yeah, it's pretty cool. We have a lot of ATTs. What are the smaller ones called? Smaller
ATST.
ATST. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, I called them
they're
AT-ATs. I think all the kids called them AT-ATs, but as a kid, they were always AT-ATs to me. So till the day I die, AT-ATs will always be AT-ATs to me. Yep. But that's only because I called it that when I was a kid. But yeah, the little ones are ATSTs, the one with the 2 feet.
Yeah, General Akbar, he's cool. Or Admiral Akbar, whatever his name is. He's really cool. I'm trying to think where we are through the storyline. So back onto Endor.
I thought it was cool seeing his planet, which we saw in The Mandalorian, of course. Or Book of Boba Fett, sorry. Or
yeah,
no,
back on Endor, we get loads of Star Troopers, and we get the death of a Wookiee. We get the death of not a Wookiee, sorry, the little furball things. I've just lost the name of them. Ewok, that's it. Yeah, Ewoks. We get the death of one of those, and that's quite sad. And obviously, he stops in his tracks and steps to look at it. Yep.
And they're bouncing back, and R2 gets fried by the thing.
The console door. He's trying to open up the door.
And then the Emperor is showing Luke that the battle is going to be quick and decisive, and the shield is still up. And oh no, it's quite operational. I'm afraid you will find this Death Star is fully operational.
Baby Ice goes, headless is in a trap between 2 blonde beards. And then she goes, I think this is the scene going on, but mine is red too. Yeah, mine's rather red.
Yeah. If I grew mine out like that, which I'll never do, by the way, because I can't handle the itching, but it would be red just like that. It's a Norwegian thing.
Mm-hmm. So what's your favourite part of this movie, Headless?
Favorite? Probably, probably the ending. I mean, the beginning is awesome too, though. I mean, I love the Jabba part. I just love that. Like the opening of the movie is like 25 minutes long. It's great. But I mean, the final battle is, that's what we were all waiting for in this movie, and I think it delivers. I think it's probably for me, it's probably like the third best lightsaber battle in the whole thing. So,
yeah.
Are you the same? Are you the same, Robbie? Do you like the final scenes?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, my favorite part of the movie was the Ewoks. And then as an adult, looking back on it and watching it again as an adult and watching it with my own children, I think the way they did kind of the last half of the movie, when they kind of were bouncing between space and the surface of the moon, where they're trying to get the shield down, and then and then they go right into once the shield goes down, they go right into the Death Star and Millennium Falcon and woohoo. So I think just the last half, I think, and of course they bounced that with the lightsaber and then the redemption of Darth Vader. That as an adult, that was probably my favorite part. As a kid, it was the speeder bike thing, and well, like I said before, the barge, the speeder bike, and the Ewoks, for sure.
Yeah, I like the final battle with Luke. I really like Luke in this movie.
Yeah,
I think he's really cool.
Yep, I agree.
And
we
I
didn't
just
get to
literally
see-
skipped through. See Vader throw the lightsaber when he's up on that little. Yeah, that's pretty
Right.
cool.
And that's the other thing, is that what a lot of fans didn't really get to see until the finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian was we didn't get to see this Luke Skywalker again until,
Mandalorian.
and granted, they kind of deep faked his face, and it was kind of it was still amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was a lot of fan service, and I know a lot of fans and people will say, "Oh my God, that's all the show is fan service," and I agree, it's fan service. But I'm a fan, and I like to be serviced, or something.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we're just literally skipping through the final 10-15 minutes of the movie, and we have the fight scene with Vader and Luke. He says to him, "So you have a twin sister?" Which is interesting knowledge for him to find out, I suppose.
Yep.
Hey, LJ, thanks for stopping in, buddy. Baby I says, "Do you think Darth Vader will come back to life since he's basically a droid?"
He's not a droid.
No.
He's a human with mechanical parts that allow him to live. He's not a droid.
Just like Luke.
Yeah.
Luke's got a
no, I mean
mechanical arm and stuff.
I mean, he's got a little more than that because he has, everything.
Yeah.
the breathing and the
Breathing.
his whole body was burned. But no, the other part that I thought was interesting in seeing this nowadays versus when I saw it as a kid, the Force lightning, what the Force lightning did to the Emperor when Mace Windu was there and blah blah blah, versus what the Force lightning is doing to Luke is totally different. Like and I'm guessing that they added kind of that problem that the Emperor had and as a feedback kind of a thing with his own powers or something. I don't know. But he was scarred and disfigured from Force lightning when this is the first time we see Force lightning, and it's not really doing much of anything except.
But was that not explained more because of the powers that Mace had, that his powers were able to reflect the abilities of the Sith onto?
Yeah. I think the canon response for that is something like when it ricochets off the lightsaber, it's actually more powerful.
Right.
So I think that's why.
That
I think the lightning. I think the idea of the lightning is that it's supposed to just drain you, basically, of life.
Right. I was assuming it was something like that, but and also of course just you can create canon and kind of thoughts about anything in these movies, and a lot of people do. So whether or not you choose to think it, or whether they put it out there in Clone Wars or in Bad Batch or in something else, then that's one thing. But then, of course, just the fans coming up with stuff, and that's a little different. But comments or comics and stuff aside, and obviously there's a whole ass ton of novels as well. But I thought it was interesting, and I think it's probably just, of course, there was decades of years basically between this and then what they did later with the Emperor and how he got scarred and everything.
There's a deleted scene that they didn't put in this either. Did you ever see that or no?
No, I definitely didn't.
No. Yeah.
I genuinely don't even think I've seen the.
Like my father before me. So be it. Jedi.
That's awesome.
Then right after that, this is what happened.
I'm not dead. Yeah. He says he's not dead. Yes, he is. I'm not.
I love that we still play that clip because that is original Headless and Milky content. I'm not dead.
What that is, that's original Monty Python is what that is.
I know, yeah. I know.
course I know
We
it.
played it. We played it originally for.
Serious.
I just lost his name. Viserys Targaryen. Yeah, in House of the Dragon because he just would not die.
That's funny.
We were holding on to that man dying.
I actually saw the Vegas show, the Monty Python Vegas show. It was hilarious.
Oh, there was a Vegas show.
Mhm.
Yeah, they did it. It was I saw it at I want to say the Paris.
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah. So we lived there. We lived there for many years, and just moved here to Texas from Vegas. But yeah, I've seen a lot of shows, most all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Monty Python one was really good. They did a really good job with it. All right.
Well, thank you very much for stopping. And hey, Keller, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Killa.
Well, good to see you. So yeah, Vader says to Luke, "So you have a twin sister. Obi-Wan was wise to hide her from me.
Yep.
You know, your feelings are betraying you now. Now his failure is complete." And then he walks away. You will not turn. If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will. And he kind of teases that he's going to go after Leia, and we get the never and the whole charge spike run.
Yeah.
You know, re-engage battle again. One of my favorite lightsaber battles in the entire franchise, I must say. Really, really cool. Really enjoyed it. I love how the lightsabers looked in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were, yeah, nice and bright. Really, really cool, and they came across as very powerful weapons. Even though they didn't really do much damage underneath that ship, it didn't feel like they were swinging it crazy, and they were hitting all these walls and hitting all these things, and there wasn't much damage caused, which is it's okay. Maybe they just made this ship indestructible.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah,
And
he
here
really
again-
goes at Vader, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, they're
And
on
here
the-
again, the
tough
space
stuff.
battles and everything in this is what they added was really, really good. Like all the blue lights and stuff on the ships and everything just after that. Super cool.
So they are on the Death Star here. You said, Headless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're on the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what he's trying to get
Okay.
Vader off of at the end.
yeah.
Yep.
And I'm literally watching the scene now where Luke is going ham on him on Vader. He's hammering him against the rail, and he chops his hand off and knocks him to the ground. His lightsaber goes flying, and it's pretty much Vader defeated. And then the Emperor comes along down the stairs with his wee creepy hands. Like,
Yep.
I have electricity.
Yep.
Yeah, your hate has become more powerful. Now fulfill your destiny. And he's using the electricity on Luke. You young fool, he calls him. We cut to a
Father,
cool
help
scene.
me, blah blah blah.
Yeah, we cut to a cool scene with the Millennium Falcon and some fighters going through a really cool scene being chased by TIE fighters. Where are they here? Are they trying to fly in the Death Star?
Yeah, they're trying to go
Yeah.
to the core.
The
yeah.
shield is still up, so they can't actually get into blow up the
The
core
damage
thingy.
the core. Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, this is literally at 2 hours into the movie, guys.
Did that not say anything? Did that
I
not-
didn't know.
Hmm.
Didn't play
Sound-
audio.
All right, I'll have to redo it. Dumb.
No worries.
I thought I had it.
So yeah, we have Lando in the Millennium Falcon. They're going through a really, really cool scene. I really like this shot. Can you explain to me who the monkey-looking dude is?
Num num. Num num.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is he related to the monkey dude that we see in Solo?
Dude. No. Monkey dude. What
They look like monkeys.
It's a different species, sir.
Yeah, totally. They don't even look alike, right?
No, I know. I've paused it on him now, and he doesn't look alike. It looks strange though.
Num num.
Okay.
Nine num. Nine num. I got it as
I do personally think that Lando looks a little bit different in this movie. He looks a little bit older.
Well, it is
To
1
say
year.
that-
It is 1 year older.
I know, but he just looks a lot older than he did when we met him in Star City. You know?
Yeah, but so does Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
Years later.
well, it's 1 year later from the last movie, but technically it's 3 years. You know, that's how long it took them to film. But
Yeah.
So yeah, I did miss a very important scene. Vader stands up as Emperor is electrifying Luke,
Yeah, and throws him
and
down the hill.
yeah, he picks him up, throws the Emperor down the tunnel,
Yeah. And that is
which is a
Darth-
very
Darth Vader restored, or Anakin Skywalker restored, rather. Redeemed.
Anakin redeems, saves his son from the Emperor. Very good scene, picks him up. And then we cut to obviously Luke talking to him. We get one of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars history. He takes off his helmet, and we get the harmonica scene. It's been memed to death,
Well, of course.
literally, but it's amazing. I do
they
love
get
it.
the shield down. The Millennium Falcon is able to go in the hole, and people are dying right and left in X-wings. Yada yada yada.
I'm watching the scene right now where he removes his helmet, and it's amazing. Who played Vader in the original?
James Earl Jones. Not that. That's not James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones was the voice.
The voice. Who played him? Who was the person here with the bald head?
David Prowse.
David Prowse. Okay.
And I'm not even sure if that's actually David Prowse in the costume. He's the one who kind of was a stand-in for him, but I'm not sure if that's actually him or not. I feel like it isn't, because I remember him getting mad that they wouldn't let him show his face at all. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. The actor seems familiar. I've seen him in other stuff, but I haven't focused on this scene enough, and I'm not really a meme guy, so I haven't seen a lot of the memes, so I don't know. He looks familiar, but I don't know.
Yeah, it is. So it's it's Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, okay, Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
And we basically see Vader die. He tells him to tell your sister that you were right all along. Luke's like, "Father, I won't leave you," and he dies. We see Luke crying.
Yep.
Luke's upset. It's the end of a very fantastic villain through these storylines, and a lot of people love Vader, and rightly so. He's a badass.
Yeah, well,
cutting to more
except
scenes.
that in Star Wars, we don't ever lose. Like, Yoda is always going to be around, and Obi-Wan's always going to be around, and Darth Vader's always going to be around because of Force Ghosts. They're just there. They don't ever actually really die. So
yeah, good point.
They can just pop up whenever.
We cut to the scene with the Millennium Falcon and the Starfighters, and they're basically in the core, and they shoot at the core, and it blows up. And you mentioned earlier that the halo was added. So is that an added scene?
Yeah.
I personally don't think I've seen the original. I don't think I've seen it the way it was originally made. I think I've just seen these changed versions.
It's actually hard to find. I mean, it's difficult to find the not remastered. Like, you can still, but like VHS and they're rare. Like, you can probably find them and stuff for sale and everything. But as far as out like streaming and all that kind of crap, not at all.
And then we cut to Endor, and we have Vader's funeral. He is burned on the rocks and on the wood. Very poignant, and I like that they put his helmet back on to give him his dignity. He died with his dignity.
And then, of course, they also, this part at the very end as well, I don't know if you saw it in your version, but they start showing after the Death Star is destroyed, all the celebration happens, and all of that was added after the prequels. So that, like, the different planets, they show whatchamacallit, where Naboo, they show
Interesting. And we have celebrations at the end, and then we basically cut to stars with credits, starring Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford as Han Solo, and Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia.
Yeah, they show Coruscant too.
Cool. Well, I'm going to close that movie off because we've come to the end of that. Did I miss anything through that breakdown that you guys want to talk about? I know we've gone a little bit longer than usual. We're probably going to end here in about 6 minutes, guys. So we're going to get our scores out and let everybody know, and we can let everybody get on with the rest of their evening. Thank you for sticking with us, everybody.
At the end, which is interesting. I don't know. We kind of touched on it, but them adding Hayden Christensen in instead of Sebastian was okay, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of that. I might have left it, but it is what it is. It's cool that they connected the prequels to the older movie.
Yeah, I think that's why he did it, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Headless, it's called Spamalot, I am thinking, says Umpty.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's called Spamalot. It was called Spamalot when I saw it in Vegas. Yeah, he's talking about the Monty Python
Okay, in Vegas.
Vegas show. Yep. Yeah, Spamalot. That's the one.
Cool. So, Robbie, you said that this one was your favorite. Does Star Wars end here for you?
No.
No?
I am not a fan of the movies after this, like at all. They're okay, but that does not necessarily include Rogue One, because I did enjoy Rogue One, mainly because we were able to. So basically, Rogue One connected the story right before this movie, and so it was the space of time between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So when I started becoming a bigger fan, I've been a fan since I was a kid, but as an adult and kind of rediscovering it and started collecting Star Wars Funko and everything, realizing that Rogue One was a connector between Empire and Jedi, I watched it again because I had seen it when it first came out. So I did enjoy that. Unpopular opinion, I actually liked Solo. I thought it was a good movie. I was entertained. Was it needed? And did they do a great job choosing the actor for Han Solo? No and no, but I was entertained. I thought it was a good movie. Star Wars definitely doesn't end here for me. I am a huge fan of The Mandalorian and some of the other stuff that is right after this. So, and I also really enjoyed Book of Boba Fett. I thought it was excellently done, and I didn't like it as well as kind of the Din Djarin story, but I am enjoying that Star Wars quite a lot as well. Bad Batch and Clone Wars, I'm a big fan of as well. I'm enjoying kind of seeing within the same time frame as what's kind of happening in Mandalorian, sort of. So that's kind of the Clone Wars were right before that, which so in timeline it's kind of like right before Mando and whatever. But hold on one second, and I'll give me 1 second.
No worries. Yeah, no worries.
I need to answer real quick, but yeah,
no worries.
I'll come on, give you my score.
Cool. What about you? I know you're a fan of Rey moving forward into this Disney trilogy. I'll mute Robbie. Yeah, there we go. I know you're a fan of Rey and stuff going into this movie. I've only seen the first one of this Disney trilogy that we're about to break down next. What do you think of this new trilogy compared to what we've got? Are you a fan of it? Are you not a fan of it? I know you like Rey, but I don't know your thoughts on the whole.
I mean, you want to talk about this now? I mean,
just a quick, like, what do you think about it? Am I going to enjoy these movies? Or
the new trilogy is awful. Like, it just, there's no direction. We'll talk more next week when we talk about The Force Awakens. But it's just not well done. I mean, and I blame Rian Johnson for most of it because he's the one who changed everything that JJ set up. Like I said, I love The Force Awakens. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was a great way. Sure, maybe a little repetitive, but there were still some different things in there. There were so many things that were unanswered in that movie, and I thought they did a great job with that moving forward. But Last Jedi just didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want any of that, and that's why The Last Jedi for me is one of my least favorite movies. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like watching the movie just because I think it looks great. But the story sucks, and Can't Explain sucks.
Never seen it, so I am definitely I've got a bad feeling that I'm gonna like those ones.
It really depends upon where you think the character should be going. And just from all of my years and years of just being on StarWars.com and reading all about legends and thinking of my own stories and just all the books that were created that were so good, and where they went with it, I was so disappointed. Like I said, Force Awakens was fine. I liked it. I mean, I understood that something had to be changed because you couldn't just go 30 years later and have all these old actors, doing what they did in the book. So I understand that part. But it's just, again, Force Awakens I thought was good. I always knew Han Solo was going to die, so I didn't have a problem with that, and I liked the way that it was done. But it's after that, it just went off a cliff. Like it's a shit show. Like I mean, in Lego Star Wars right now, I'm in Rise of Skywalker, and I'm in a certain part of the movie, and I'm like, this is like the game makes it better than the movie did, and because there's some jokes but. Yeah, I don't know.
I have a lot of the same feelings. Like for me, I'm not so much on the fandom of like if the canon isn't where I think they should have gone with the story or whatever. But if the movie is entertaining for me, then I would be more likely to give it a better score. But I agree completely. Like they messed up with the prequel stuff, but where they went with the movies after this, not a fan.
Like I said, I never had a problem with Force Awakens. I ended up seeing that movie like 5 times in the theater. I really, really liked it. I did. I liked everything about it. Like there's nothing about the Force Awakens I didn't really like. And I'm like, yes, okay, so Rey's overpowered at the end. But I'm like, obviously you're going to explain this.
Yeah, I think they were going in the right direction. But
and I love the cliffhanger at the end with Luke. It was fantastic. Yeah. I was so pissed I had to wait a whole year.
Is Porg in the is Porg in the first one?
Porgs are not in the first one.
No, they're in the second to last one.
Okay, because whichever one the Porg is in is the one I've seen. Because it's funny. This is my first ever Funko Pop. At first ever Funko Pop was the Chase Porg. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's the female one with the mouth open.
He's doing the scream. That's cool.
Yeah. It was so the franchise does connect my love to Funko as well as because this is where it started. I went to the movies to watch it. I needed to use the toilet, so I went to a store that had a public toilet and they had this for sale in there. And I was like, well, I've just watched the movie. I'm not going to leave that Funko Pop sat there. And it was a Chase. You don't leave a Chase in the wild. So,
I'm that's definitely on my list of ones I want to get. I have a pretty big Star Wars collection now. Well, I say pretty big. It's maybe 40 Star Wars pops, I want to say. But mostly Mandalorian, but kind of across all genres and stuff. But the majority of my collection is Star Wars. So
cool.
All of Star Wars is on my list. But I do need to get off. So
we're going to do scores. What's your score for this show? For this movie? What do you rate this movie? Out of 10.
As a whole, and now seeing The Mandalorian, I think my score would have been different before The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, but just because I'm an uber fan of those shows. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10 for Return of the Jedi. It's my absolute favorite. And the only reason I would give it an 8 instead of a 9 is just because they've done a lot better Star Wars now, as far as the filmography and cinematography and everything in some of the other newer stuff.
Okay.
But not the new movies, and certainly not necessarily story, but Mandalorian story, absolutely. So
8 out of 10, nice.
8 out of 10.
What about you, Headless? Where are you ranking this movie?
Yeah, so for this one, for me, I give it a solid 9 out of 10. You'll see my listener in a second. I'll pull it up as soon as I get your score. I'll pull this up. I have an idea of where you're going to go with this, so I have it ready. I'll see if I'm right.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10.
That's exactly what I thought you would say. The reason why it is a 10 out of 10 for me is just because of the complete arc we get with Luke. That's basically why. I can do without the Ewoks. I mean, they're fine. It's not my favorite part, I just think the first 25 minutes and the last half an hour, and that's almost an hour of the movie, is so damn good. And the middle, it takes a while to get there a little bit, but there's a lot of good stuff in here. It's not for me. It's not as good as the first two movies. It's not as good as Revenge of the Sith for me. So for me, it sits at number 4.
Okay.
I'll pull that up right now.
Well, I am going to hop off just because my kid is on the phone and I
No
had
worries.
something come up today I need to talk to him about. But just
Well,
wanted
thank you
to
for being
say,
here, Robbie. Thank you for being a great guest.
Thanks for having me on and listening to all my shenanigans.
No,
and
you're more
my
than
opinions,
welcome.
as humble as they are. But anyway, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Robbie. Guys, please connect to
See you
Robbie in the
soon.
chat and stuff, and we'll see him soon. See you later,
All right.
Robbie.
Yeah, man.
Bye.
I will take him down.
So yeah, there's our rankings as they stand right now. So again, I mean, I'm not rating this on a scale of I have to rank each movie a different number. I give it a score of what I feel like the movie is, and then I'll rank it from there. So that's why, like you can see, I have 3 movies ranked a 9 out of 10 because I think there are 3 very, very good movies. But it would be like 3A, 3B, 3C. So Empire is still on top with A New Hope right behind it, Revenge, Return, and then Rogue One, and then the prequels, basically. Or Phantom.
Yeah, I like how we are kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that. Yeah. And I'm completely happy with my scores. I wouldn't change any of them. So
yeah. I mean, the one I'm most shocked on with yours is that you do
Rogue One
above A New Hope, because A New Hope is just it's such a well done movie, and just for the time and the special effects, what they did, it for people who still want to watch that movie today. We're talking almost 4 years later. It's that's how well done it is. I mean,
I genuinely think it gets the 0.5 boost because it was the first time I was watching it. It was my first time watching it, and it was all new to me. Everything, all the surprises were brand new.
Yeah,
and A New Hope I have seen 9 times. So yeah.
I'd be curious to see, like, if you sat there and just watched them, like you watch Rogue One, and then like 2 weeks later you watch A New Hope, and see if those scores still hold up for you. Now that you've seen Rogue One, I just think that again, Rogue One is a great movie. I give it a 9 out of 10 for a reason. But there's parts of Rogue One where it's like, for me, it's almost tedious to get through. Where I like in New Hope, there's not one part of that movie like I would never even think about skipping through. Where like I said, in Return, there's about 3 parts I'd skip through that I just I've seen it a million times. I just want to I want to watch the movie in an hour and a half instead of 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Empire and New Hope, there's nothing I'd skip through, which is why I do give those a 10. Revenge, even Revenge, there's some parts in the beginning I'm like, I'll just fast forward through it.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, there's some stuff in the beginning. It's it takes a while to get there a little bit, but so I mean, yeah, but like you said, we're pretty close. I mean,
look at our bottom 3. Attack Solo Phantom. Yours is Attack Solo Phantom.
Yeah,
the next 3.
Our top 5 is the same, basically, just in a different order. And the top 3 and the bottom 3 are the same in a different order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it works. And remember, guys, we'll keep reminding you, keep an eye on these listings because you will probably need them for future reference. And we will only take into account our scores for the Kahoot games. We won't take into account our guests' scores.
Yep.
Although I'm not sure if we'll have another guest for the Star Wars stuff. I don't think anyone else has reached out. So
we have
that'll be fun.
What do we have? We have 3. We have 3 left. We are into Force Awakens. So that'll be next Sunday. No, next Monday.
No, next Monday on my channel. Yeah, we're gonna go double lives on mine. This one tonight, and then next Monday again.
So because I won't be live next Sunday because of the Super Bowl, but I am going to be live on Raven Reviews. So if you do like these breakdowns and that we do, and it's something that it's something different than talking Funko or whatever. If you don't know yet, me and Ryan have started another channel. We're still kind of working out the kinks with it because we don't want to. We still want to build our own channels before we start like trying to build a third channel. But we do have another channel, and I'm just not sure how much. We're thinking about doing more videos than lives on it, but I'll go ahead and link that in the chat. So if you are interested in subscribing and kind of seeing what we're doing, so we do have a channel for actual Raven reviews. So I'll link that there.
Yep. Raven Reviews on YouTube. That's the independent channel that we have for the two of us for the combined stuff that we'll be doing. Like Headless has just said, we are still ironing out the kinks. So please bear with us. But there'll definitely be content on there on a regular basis coming real soon.
Yeah, even worst case scenario, it will be a edited shorter version of our lives. So if that's, if you enjoy the lives and you miss them and you don't have an hour and 40 minutes to sit there and watch, the idea is that we will kind of go through and edit that and put that up on the Raven Reviews channel. On Friday, I will be live. I have not posted it yet. I will be posting that tonight or tomorrow. I am going to go live on Friday without Ryan to talk about The Last of Us because it is dropping on HBO if you have not heard. So if you are watching that series, it is dropping at 9 p.m. So
thanks, Super Bowl. People in the UK have got to suffer because of Super Bowl.
Yeah. But it is dropping early because of the Super Bowl. And since I'm not going to go live on Sunday, I figured it's a perfect chance for me just to jump on it on Friday. So I'll probably be up around 10:15, and I'm going to have Lady Stoneheart's going to join me, and we're going to talk about it. I don't know how long it will be, but at least I wanted to talk about it because I think it's supposed to be a pretty good episode from kind of like what I've been hearing about the game and stuff. So
and if I get chance on Saturday, I'll do a quick impromptu live, and I'll give you my thoughts of the show when I've watched it.
Yep. And then that'll just be live on my channel, and then I'll cut it up, put a shorter version on Raven Reviews. And then Saturday, if you are interested, we will be live again on my channel, and we're doing Among Us. We're going to try Among Us this month instead of Jackbox. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, we can always swing over to Jackbox. But the plan right now is to try to do Among Us. And so download the app and play a few games, get some upgrades, and we'll see how many people we get for that. I'll be curious because it was an idea.
Charles Popham, as always, says, awesome, can't wait, loving the show so far. So yeah, he's going to be there Friday to hang out and listen to Your Last of Us.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, we'll just kind of hang out and like I said, we'll see how far it goes. And Charles, I was going to say, Charles, if you want to jump on, if you watch all the episodes, you're more than welcome to join us because I'm not sure how much my wife really wants to do it. I'm kind of forcing her. We'll see.
I do apologize. Fridays are just the worst day for YouTube world to me.
No, and I totally get it. And like I said, Sunday was going to be tough anyways because we were talking yesterday, and
yeah,
I think it'll be fun. Just something different, and then we'll be back to our regular, our regular lives, and then with the Last of Us, finishing that out into Mando. Yep. And we got a bunch of giveaways to go for the Kahoot game, which will be on the Sunday, the 19th? Is that the day?
I think so, yeah. I believe so.
I think it's the 19th. I think that's the day it's scheduled. Oh, you know what, dude? Oh, shoot. I gotta talk.
You busy? Right. Well, we'll talk backstage. We'll let everybody get halfway from here, and then we'll sort it out.
We might have to go earlier. Oh.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to talk. I have Ant-Man and Wasp tickets because I'm off on the 20th. So my neighbor is like, "Oh, you want to go see Ant-Man and Wasp?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't go Friday." So I'm like, "Well, why don't we just go Sunday? I don't have to work on Monday." He wasn't even thinking about it.
Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out for that day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, everybody watching, I want to say thank you tonight for watching and hanging out. There was at least 6 or 7 of you all night, so I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody for the birthday wishes to today and yesterday. Don't forget, I'm going to have PDX on the Horseman with me tomorrow night, and I'll also be hanging out with Baby Ice and LJ after the Horseman for LJ Smokeout, and they're going to be celebrating my birthday. Like, the thumbnail for that live is already quite a funny one. It looks like I'm milking a cow, so it's quite a funny moment. Yeah, but I just want to thank everybody for hanging out. This has been a long Star Wars hike to get to where we're at, and we're finally on the final stretch of the last 3 movies. I'm super proud of the work that we've done with this stuff, and yeah, I've become more of a fan through watching it. So again, Headless, thank you for being an awesome co-host and having the knowledge that you have. And I want to thank Robbie for coming on and being our guest today and fulfilling my birthday live criteria for bringing on somebody each birthday. I really enjoyed doing that. But yeah, guys, my name's Ryan Milkey. I've been hanging out with my co-host over there, Headless Ned Stark, breaking down The Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Star Wars Episode 6, It's a Trap. My name is Ryan Milkey, as I just said. His name is Headless Ned Stark. You can find us over on our respective channels, and you can also find us on Sundays for the Raven Reviews, which will be this Friday, this time because of the Super Bowl changing things forward. But yeah, don't forget, guys, always keep those heads on.
And always stay extra milky.
Hell yeah. Guys, we love you, and we will see you later. Thank you, and goodbye.
I am a Jedi,
Where's
like my father before me.
So be it.
Jedi.